I'm more questioning Tuscan's inclusion rather than Sabir's.
Yeah, you just pissed
And
off all the Tuscan fans out there.
yeah, I mean, I just have to be honest.
I don't think there's many. I mean, I was the biggest Tuscan fan for a long time.
Hey guys, so this is yet another episode of The Yorker, the 28th one. With me, I have the regulars right in the top left corner. You have Rinat, analyst, plays. He's a leg spinner as well. On the top right, we have Mufi. He's the guy I started this podcast with. Was sending out messages, finally agreed. So he was in the very first episode. On the bottom right, you have Alfie. He's part of an exclusive club of only two of the English podcasts that are on Bangla cricket. So it's very cool to have him here. I know.
Alfie the Alpha. And then we have Roey. Right.
He doesn't need any introduction. So.
The man, the brainchild.
I do the intros, guys. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, I know you guys are jumping at the bits to talk about this ODI squad that just got released.
Oh yeah.
Anyone wants to take a shot, just go right ahead. How do you feel, Alfie?
Me, all right. I guess I'll start. Let me pull up the squad. I think that we all have a lot to talk about based on the WhatsApp thing. I mean, it must have been a couple hundred messages in the last couple of days. I'm trying to find. Oh, here we go. So, man, I don't know where to begin. I guess we should begin with the elephant in the room, which is the selection of Sabir and the articles that have been written. I think Issam has not been too happy about this. And honestly, okay, this is my opinion. This may sound like a different tone than what I had in the WhatsApp chat, which obviously none of our viewers are going to be aware of. But I think that once a player has been selected, and once he puts that red and green shirt on, or the white one in the case of a test match, I think that we should definitely support his success in so much as, it's important for the team. Because I'll be perfectly honest, last couple series when Riyadh was getting picked in the test team, I was rooting for him to fail as an individual. But especially in that New Zealand match, in that Zimbabwe test match that we lost, when he came to the wicket, and I was like, oh damn, we need a big score from him to win. And I was rooting for him to score runs because I didn't want the team to lose. Even though I hated his place in the team and I wanted him to fail, I realized that the team needed him to score runs, and I was actually then I changed in an hour or two. I changed. I was like, all right, damn, I got to root for Riyadh now to score runs, which really makes you hate the situation even more. But when a player puts that shirt on, I think that we don't have a choice. We got to root for him because it's for the good of the team. So this is going to be a very tough tour in both formats. It's going to be a very difficult tour, and it's going to be a very important tour for us as well. So with that being said, I can't help but have to root for Sabir if he's in the 11. But would I have picked him? No. Do I think that should he have been picked? No. I mean, the BCB just changed their rules, and 6-month suspension became 5 months, which okay, but I mean, it's just. I don't know, it's just that in and of itself wouldn't have pissed me off, but the selections just have been I've just disagreed with so many of them that it's just another I can't go along with it in good faith. I'll let you guys go next with your opinions.
I mean, what you said in the end there, that's what most people have a contention with, the fact that it got reduced to a 5-month ban. It's not so much so that he was just selected, but it's just that what the article writers out there, what they've written about is they don't think the board is very professional in doing this, and they do this all the time. We see it in BPL as well. They change the rules as it's it's not a very so it's not a very good look. As far as but I agree with you, Alfie, that since he's putting on the red and green jersey, you want him to score some runs, but I don't know how Rinat feels about it.
I'll actually let Mufi go first.
All right.
I don't want to talk about only about Sabir, but if I look at the overall the squad, I'm pretty pleased, pretty happy with the final 15 that they came up with. I'll get to Sabir at the end, but it was very predictable. Like that, Tamim is back. Then you have Leeton, Shakib, Riyad, Mushfiq, all those players are there. Mash, Fizz is there, and then on the questionable selection is obviously Sabir here. So they're dropping Ariful and they're trying to bring back Sabir for that number 7 role. So I think Ariful got some chances in the previous tour and against West Indies, and he was not that impressive. So now they're trying to go back with Sabir, keeping the World Cup in the plan, which is in a couple of months, and in English conditions. So they're thinking if Sabir can gain some exposure, experience in a tough QE conditions, maybe it'll be very good for him in the World Cup. So I don't think they're trying to fit an Ariful into the World Cup squad. So with that mindset, it's not a bad idea. I'm not gonna talk about his ban or his PCB's policy on him, but I'm very happy with the squad except for the Taskin Ahmeds. Like I'm not happy with his selection. If BCB wanted to go with 5 seamers, there was Mashrafi, Fizz, Rubel, Saifuddin. I think Abu Haidar or Abu Zayed, who's in the test squad, or Khalid Ahmed, who's in the test squad, should have been a better pick than Taskin. So I am more questioning Taskin's inclusion rather than Sabir's.
Yeah, you just
And
pissed off all the Tuscan fans out there.
yeah, I mean, I just have to be honest.
I don't think there's many. I mean, I was the biggest Tuscan fan for a long time, but if I'm not pissed off, I don't see anyone else being really being
And
pissed.
I
I
know
don't
he
see him
had a
having too
good
many fans.
BPL, but this is going to be a very tough tour. Sri Lanka just they're now in Australia right now, so they lost all the games against in that tour. So I'm looking at the results now. So they draw 1 test and they lost 3 ODIs and both T20s. So it was a whitewash, almost a whitewash. So we are not expecting to do much better. So I think this is going to be extremely because the Kiwis are very, very good at their home games. So with that being said, I think if we can get some wins out of this tour, it'll be very good for our confidence. So I think coming from PPL, a lot of the players will be in good match practice, high intensity match practice. So it'll be interesting.
Fitness will be good. All the players will be fit. Nobody's going to be carrying any extra weight, so that's going to be a good thing. But I agree. This is going to be an exceedingly challenging tour. If we thought the West Indies tour was tough, I mean, and the West Indies are all over England right now. They're absolutely demolishing England. So that hopefully should put our performance into perspective. England got bowled out for just 77.
Right.
If we thought the West Indies tour was going to be tough, this one's going to be a little bit tougher because New Zealand has all the boxes checked. So especially in relation to the West Indies. Yeah.
Rinat, come in. How are you feeling?
I don't want to talk too much personal into Sabir's and inclusion and whatnot, because again, I'm not a fan of him. I actually hate him. But I want to talk about something else. I think Bangladesh is kind of the think tank is kind of lusted by this idea of having a finisher in the team. And I think that idea itself is a bit dated in today's cricket. I mean, there was a time when you had stable batsmen all the way through, and then you needed a finisher or two to get those scores to change the score from 250 to 280, 290. Now we play a game, a modern day ODI game, where a par score is 320 plus. So you need to have aggression from number 1. You can't be expecting number 7 to give you a boost. In fact, if you look at the world cricket, if you look at India, they don't win games based on their finishers. They win games. Kohli wins them games. Okay, I know Dhoni is the finisher, but then even Dhoni comes up now. Rohit Sharma wins them games. If you look at Australia suffering right now, why? because they have two of their top orders missing, right? You look at the West Indian team that we just played, Shea Hope, Hetmeyer, these are top order batsmen. These are the guys, it's the top orders that are making the difference right now. The whole idea of having a finisher is a bit dated. And I don't think that, you need a specialist finisher anymore. You basically need all of your 6 or 7 batsmen to strike at least over 90 at any given time, at any given situation.
Yeah.
And if you look at Bangladesh itself, Bangladesh has actually never, at least I don't remember, they have never won a single game with a finisher. It has never happened that a finisher has turned the game around and won us a game. We have won when Tamim has performed. We have won when Shakib or Mushi, one of them have performed. Riyad finished it a few times in T20, but in ODIs, he has played well up the order where he has contributed right from the word go. So I don't think that. So in that sense, because that's the whole reason they have Sabir in the team is because they're like, okay, we need a finisher, and Sabir basically has no competition, right?
I think it's a bit misleading when they use the term that he's coming at number 7. It's just that they tried with Ariful. So Ariful, that experiment, it failed. So now they're going back to Shabbir. So
they tried Mossadegh.
But Mossadegh is not a number 7.
No, he's not. But they tried him. He's not. But they tried it.
So I think
they tried it. They tried it with Ari. You're right. They tried it with Ariful, and in between there may have been Saifuddin, perhaps, maybe. I'm trying to think who else.
Saifuddin is playing more like an all-rounder role.
Yeah, they tried Shumbo, I think, even maybe 1 or 2 games in between recently at number 6 or something like that. So,
but then again,
I want to make sure what you mean by a finisher.
Exactly. That was the other point. That we need to define that term. Yeah.
Is it the very first person who comes after the middle order? Is that the finisher? Like, is Dhoni a finisher?
Traditionally, yes, he is a finisher.
Yeah.
And if you're batting first, that the person that comes in the slog overs and scores at a strike rate of 150 to 200, that would be my definition of a finisher. Like, who doesn't need a lot of balls to come in and see those balls and just can hit from the first ball.
But again, how often does Dhoni come to bat after 40 overs to finish a game? Like he is usually coming up earlier these days, where he takes.
These days he's coming in. He's coming in earlier.
Well, I
that's
think
what I'm saying. That's the whole concept that they are trying. Now you have to play the ODI game in a way where you are accelerating from ball 1. Literally, you need 6 and over on your first power play. That's given, right? You need 150 runs up by 25 balls. That's given, right? So when you want a specialist finisher, again, like I don't know how that's very effective these days, especially when we don't really have one. Sabir is just basically the less worst finisher we have, right? Yeah. He's not a good finisher by any means.
I mean, I think Mahmudullah, he can be the finisher if he comes in.
He can be, and he has been. He has been the finisher.
It's one of the top orders. It's one of the top orders or middle order that has to finish. Let me just say it that way. Because for Bangladesh, we don't have anyone that has the power hitting that can hit the ball from ball 1, right? You need whoever, like if you look at Mushi, if you look at Shakib, if you look at Riyad, these are the guys that can't really strike the ball from ball 1, right? They need to come in, they need to get set. So if we want to win games and if we want to have a high score in the end, we will need one of these 3 guys to come in early and be set by the time it's 40 overs gone. Because, they'll have their eye set and they will be able to hit the ball. And like, Mushi is a best example for that. When he has his eye in, he can hit the ball as good as any finisher in the world, right?
Yeah. I think Mushi and Riyad can hit the ball from ball 1, but because of their importance, or at least Mushi in the top order, he doesn't get in that situation. And Riyad now might be our finisher now because he's probably going to be batting at 6.
Yeah, I'll add Shakib to that list as well. He also is another guy.
No, I think Shakib will come at number 3. I think he secured a spot at number 3 or number 4.
I think Roey was trying to say that he's capable of being a finisher.
He's capable of it.
I don't think Shakib is as capable as Riyad or Mushi. I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't seen him in that capacity. I think I think maybe the 2014 Asia Cup against Pakistan when we.
Shakib needs to like come in, face some balls. Like he doesn't. He's not like Riyadh, who's gonna come in and use his strength to clear the boundary.
I think Riyadh or Mushi could very well hit the very first
And-
ball that.
I got it. Let's not split hairs. So
Yeah.
Rinat, I see your point. What you're saying, yeah. It does seem a bit dated from the times when you have like Lance Klusner, then Michael Bevan. Those were the times maybe when you needed a finisher, and now you're saying people need to stay there, whoever comes in. Let's go back to the
that's a really
selection
good point.
a little
Rinat.
bit. I was really disappointed that they didn't have Kayas in there. I really wanted Kayas to be in the squad. I think they did him wrong. You know, he didn't.
Yeah, I think like
They
that's
didn't.
gonna be my next point on like Shomo. Does Shomo like should he be in the squad? Like we got if Shabir is in the squad, then do we need a player like Shomo as well? Like maybe Kais could be in that. So I think Kais would have been an ideal number 3 for the ODIs.
Yeah.
If you guys look at it, right, Sabir Rahman, 2018, 8 matches, 69 runs at an average of 11, makes the squad over someone who has scored over 300 runs, right, playing as many games
This is
with
criminal.
a higher strike rate.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
if this was in home, if we were playing at home, that Kais would have been in because Kais is known to be very good playing in our own conditions. So that's why I think Shabir got the nod, just because of the fact that we're playing in away conditions.
But
Yeah,
Emrul
I
Kayes,
think.
I just want to add, but Emrul Kayes is actually like he's I think one of the only players who has a century in New Zealand in ODIs,
Yeah.
and
I
he is
think
the
yeah.
he has an average over 35 in New Zealand. Like, you know, it's astounding how you leave someone like that out. Like I understand that he had a pretty average West Indian series, but again, if you look at it, like holy
I
smokes.
think for
I
Emrul-
think what happened.
They didn't play him in his position, which he got in Zimbabwe. They
Played him all over the place. They played him all over the place since the Asia Cup, right?
I think Imrul's competition was Shomo, not Shabir. So we should be questioning Shomo.
No. What I
I
think is
disagree.
that they had 15 players that they absolutely wanted, and then Imrul was the 16th player, thus he got left out, or however I think that. So in essence, it was because I think Shomo would have gone on this trip regardless because he just hit a century not long ago. Shabir was the guy that pushed him out of the squad. Although maybe the direct competition might be Shomo.
Shabir is coming in at number 7. Kais wouldn't be at number 3, or he's going to be the opening batsman.
I know, Mufi, but Mashrafi actually clearly said it in his interview that the selection committee basically had 14 people set, and they consulted him for one spot, and that one spot was going between another seamer, a 6-seamer, Kais, and Sabir Rahman. So basically, they asked him that, okay, we have one spot that we are unsure about. Who do you want? Do you want Kais? Do you want another slow left armer? Do you want a 6-seamer, or do you want a finisher? So I think so. It's not right. Like I agree with you. Like it makes no sense.
Then in that case, we probably can't criticize the selectors that much, and we probably can't criticize. I mean, you can dislike Sabir because at the end of the day, Mash is the captain of the team, and like him or not, he should have that say. If the selectors come to him and say, 14 guys we pick, one guy we don't really know, so we're going to get you that, then I feel like he should be allowed to select whoever he wants.
I mean, also I just realized that we're going with 5-seamers, so that doesn't leave a lot of space for a lot of so we have to cut down either on Shomo, Shabir, or Kais, and in this case it was Kais who couldn't make it, just because of the fact that we have to go with 5-seamers.
I don't have the squad in front of me. Is Ronnie there in the squad?
No,
he's not
cut.
in the.
Unfortunately, he got cut
for both.
And
ODIs
he should not
and
have
tests.
gotten cut. He got.
That's another. Yeah, I feel the same way.
He should not have been cut. He didn't get to even play. I think in the West
did
Indies
nothing.
series.
Taskin did nothing.
Yeah, he got a free ride.
Any tournament to deserve a comeback, And I've heard Minhajul Abidin Nanu clearly say it on the news conference. I was actually watching the conference, and he said he used the exact terms that Taskiner bhalo goti ache. Okay, so by goti, the speed, he is referring to a guy who is clocking at his highest about 135. I know he's really fast, but he's not clocking over 135, right? What is the difference between
He can
135
bowl.
and
No,
130?
he
I don't
can
get it.
bowl. He'll hit probably 145 in New Zealand. Now the only
No,
question
I don't think with his new
45.
action, like he
He may
drops a
hit
lot of
140.
pace.
He was. I saw him bowl a couple at 139 in the BPL, 138, 139, and in our country, he'll be cracking 145. And
I think
at least
Rubel is going to be our fastest seamer in this tour. He's gonna be clocking
It's a
145.
toss up between them. The thing is, Taskin, his pace is not that much of an issue. Yeah, is he fast like 150? No, but it's just that he didn't merit selection at all.
Right.
In the
And
one,
neither-
I can still see, okay, maybe picking him. He's got a reasonable record, etc. But in the test team, to pick him over, it was ridiculous. And I know we're not talking about.
More than the pace, Tuskin's, for the lack of better word, the quality that he has, he hits the deck pretty hard. So he gets good bounce from the surface. So I think, like at 135, at 145, so he can bowl good short bowl. So I think that's one thing that our seamers can explore in that condition.
But that's very hit me friendly though, right? If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it is hit me friendly. Like he's bowling
135
loopy
what I was saying
bouncers.
is we should look at the positives. Like Alfie was saying, when somebody puts on that jersey, you
Of
wanna
course,
Of course, yeah. We're not.
yeah.
I'm not gonna wish anyone fails.
But at the same light, I do feel bad for Ronnie because he was another one of my favorites, and I liked his action. He had a way better, slower delivery than Taskin. Taskin doesn't. Have that in his arsenal yet.
He should have been in the squad ahead of Taskin for sure.
Or Saifuddin, because Saifuddin
Is Saifuddin in the squad?
Yes, he's in the ODI squad.
I think he deserves his place in there. He did well in the Zimbabwe series.
He did okay, but I think because
you may need him in the World Cup.
He needs to be tested.
As
He needs
a
to be
fourth
tested.
seamer.
He could be very important for the World Cup. Saifuddin should be tested. I was not in favor of his selection, but what I saw in the Zimbabwe series, I do think that he can be a handy bowler against good teams in the World Cup, and I think he can be a handy batter as well.
I mean, I liked Abu Haidar Ronnie more because he gives us another option as a left-arm seamer. So,
and he's a swing bowler. He can
along with Fizz, and he can bat a bit. Right.
Yeah,
he can bat a bit.
He can bat a bit. Yeah. No, Ronnie should definitely have been there. Should have been.
So Ronnie and Saifuddin are almost equal. Like whoever have a better day or a tour will get the edge.
But yeah, so they didn't do a good job, I think. That's in summary. The selection management and Mushraf, they together, whatever they did, I don't think it was too good. One guy we didn't talk about that much or not at all is Naeem Hassan. So he got his chance. And if I just want to compare his performances Rinat.
And I think he's going to be a big factor, even in the ODIs. I mean, you guys look at the last game between New Zealand and India that just happened. New Zealand just got demolished in their own home, right? They got bowled out for 150 runs, right? And guys and then there's Kedar Jadhav, there's Kuldeep Yadav, Chahal. These guys ran through basically ran through the New Zealand lineup. So I think spin will play a factor, and I hope that if that's the case, then Naeem Hassan does get a chance because I think he will be more effective.
So if you get Naeem, Shakib is also playing. So we got two spinners. So then we're gonna have three seamers. So in that case, then why did we select five seamers in the squad?
Well, I'm not saying I don't think in every game we will in all the three games we will need a spinner. It depends on the conditions. I think in some conditions will be better for spinners, maybe one or two games, and then the other goes.
No, that's a great segue to go into the lineup, and after that we'll close it.
Let's go into the lineup as we get closer to the ODI series. We'll do another episode first, right?
Okay.
So no point because I think the injuries may happen. A lot of shit can happen.
No, I understand. But Mufi already covered 5 players right there, so it was like almost, I thought. But sure, we can do that. When is the first game, by the way? The first game?
February
12th.
13th or 12th, yeah.
12th.
I mean,
there's still a lot of time.
It depends where you live, yeah.
We got to keep our eyes on the India series, right? Because, we have India's playing. If India can demolish New Zealand, I think it's going to be pretty competitive for us, too, if our batsmen don't choke.
Well, Rinat, the last series we played in New Zealand was actually fairly competitive. In two of the games, we had winning positions.
Yeah.
And we had winning positions that we just threw away. It is conceivable we could have won the last series in New Zealand 2-1. One of the games, I think the first game we got blown out, but apart from that, the second two games we were in decent positions. So I would hope that we would do at least that well this time around. I mean, that's just my take.
Well, right after that, we did beat them twice in a row in the next in the next three ODIs. We beat them. We beat them twice in Ireland. We beat them in the Champions Trophy. That's the last three ODIs we played. We beat them in all three of them. So I expect this to be a pretty.
We beat them. I think we beat them in two of the three. They beat us once they beat us once in Ireland, and then we beat them in the final or whatever.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
And then of course we beat them in the Champions Trophy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we talked about the selections mostly, us four here. What we'll do is, since there were some really controversial decisions, we'll have our final verdict, each one of us, and then we'll close it out. So let me go. I don't like it at all. Like I said, they shouldn't have left Kai's out and Ronnie as well. I also don't like Mithun in there. Or maybe I'm just saying that because of what I'm seeing in BPL. I just don't. There's some things I pick up on people, like even their body language, how they interact with other players. I don't like the idea, especially when he's not going to be keeping. If it's still Mushfiku's going to be keeping, I don't know. So yeah, that's it for me. Alfie, your last words.
I pretty much agree. I don't like the selections of Sabir. I don't think Taskin really deserves his position in the team. I'm happy. I do like Shomo being in the squad. I would actually even open with him over Imrul. But it would have been nice to have Imrul as the backup in case Shomo fails. And I don't like Mithun in the squad either. I don't think he's going to be able to provide much in New Zealand conditions. Top order, middle order, doesn't really matter. And I absolutely abhor the fact that he's in the test team. I think the test cap should be something, like I would definitely have had Mossadegh in there in place of Mithun. I can see why the selectors left Mossadegh out, but I would still put him in because he's got that 60 plus first class average. I mean, that to me is a huge exclamation mark. It's a big reason to not drop someone, unless they really, really, really have been sucking for a very long time. That's just my opinion on that. And of course, Ronnie should have been in the squad ahead of Taskin. And so pretty much I disagree with everything you said, Roey. Mufi?
Okay. Well, in that case, Mufi, anything extra you've got to add to that?
No, I'm happy pretty much overall with the squad. I'm quite pleased. I just questioning Taskin's inclusion and the fact that we're going with 5 seamers in a squad of only 15 players. I think that's a lot. We also have to show more. You can say he might be the 6th seamer as well. So we have a lot of seamers. So I think we're going very predictable ODI squad.
Who are the 5 seamers again? So it was Mash, Rubel, Fez, Taskin, and
Saifuddin.
Saifuddin. Okay, got it. Rinat.
So again, I don't like the squad either. I think we're still stuck to this idea of picking players based on their attributes rather than based on how good they actually are. So basically, we need a finisher. We picked a finisher. Doesn't matter how good he is. We were looking for an express bowler in those conditions, so we picked an express bowler. Doesn't matter how good of a form he is in right now. So it's basically just picking players for the sake of it, and it's not based on performance. It's based on what we think they're capable of, quote unquote. So I don't like it. I hope we have the luxury of having our top 5 players that can win us the games alone, basically. So we'll probably get bailed out by them if we do get bailed out. But again, in long term, I think we are gonna suffer. These small decisions is gonna come back to bite them in the future.
One of the things I guess I'll just add is that we're seeing this reluctance to make big or wholesale changes in the squad. And I mean, in general, that's probably a good idea. But where before every squad selection, either Mashrafi or usually I think Nannu will say, "Oh, we're not going to make major changes," or even the coach will come in and say, "Yeah, we're not going to make major changes." So that means 1 or 2 guys are going to get dropped here and there. That's good because it means that you've got squad stability, but it's bad because then if you have let's say 4 or 5 useless players or players that are dragging the team down, it means that only 1 or 2 of them are going to be removed each series. So you have to wait 4 series for the
It's
chance to have a decent team. Yeah,
I think it's because
and replace. Yeah,
I think it's because of the World Cup in mind. That's all. Like we know after the World Cup, Mash is not going to be there. So for him, so that's one spot to fill. And so I think just because of that, like we only have a couple of months. World Cup is in 5 months. So that's why they're not trying to make like wholesale changes right now.
But they could have picked some of these players, 6 months ago, and then they would have had 20 matches.
Who?
I mean, they could have stuck with Mossadegh, for one. They could have in the ODI team. I'm trying to think, but definitely someone apart from Mohammad Mithun and someone apart from Sabir and someone
Mithun
apart
performed
from
though. Mithun did perform though. Like I have less against him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they tried with Ariful as well. Saifuddin, you can say Saifuddin is another gamble. Maybe.
Our bowling is not exactly our biggest issue though. Like bowling between Rani and Saifuddin. Like I want Rani in the squad, but then I can't complain about Saifuddin, right? Taskin I can complain, but it's the batting mostly that's been an issue. Like I think that's what he's talking about. Mossadegh and then Michi.
Like Anamol, they tried with Anamol, so they brought him back for one of the tri-series.
Yeah. The guys that they brought back, I think they should have probably given a little bit longer chance. Like even Ariful, like if you're going to play Ariful, like you should have gotten a longer, not that, I wasn't a big fan of his, so that's why I'm not complaining. But let's say that I was, then it would have been I'd be complaining that it's not really fair for him. He got to play maybe 5 or 6 games. That's it. That's not a very low. And it was across formats. If you're picking him,
I'm sorry. Now I was saying he should have been kept in T20. He should have never gotten those chances in ODI
and Test, which is even worse.
Right.
I think his best performance with the bat so far was in the Test match. I think he scored like 30 odd runs in one of the innings. But I mean, what I'm saying, the thing is that there's just no real rhyme or reason with our selections. It's
exactly.
Just very haphazard, very chaotic.
That's what it comes down to, and I feel we'll pay for it. I hope we don't. Yeah. I'll keep my fingers crossed, all of us here.
Yeah, eventually we will.
This is too much, man.
Eventually we will pay. Eventually we will pay for it, and it may be as soon as when Mash retires, and then we don't have a strong leader to also step in. See, one of the things I didn't mention was that we're getting these very small incremental changes because the team has largely been doing well, at least in ODIs. So there's no impetus or there's no real incentive to really change the team around. Now, if we have a disastrous series or a tour, then you might see, well, let's make a few more changes. But that's probably not going to happen until at least after the World Cup, as Mufi was saying.
All right. So I think we'll close it out here. Thanks, guys, for joining. We'll make, as the first ODI approaches, we'll do one with just the selections. So again, thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Peace out.
See ya.
Peace out.
Have a good night.